This is an InfatuAsian side dish, a smaller version of our normal pod where we talk about Asian things that we love. This is Curtis, and on today's mini episode, we'll be talking about another gritty Netflix-only drama taking the world by storm called My Name. All right, hey everyone, we are back with another side dish. What do you think? Are you getting overwhelmed with the content? We've been producing a lot of stuff out there, but I think it's fun. We've been doing a lot of different things. We did a little Star Wars one. I got a baseball one coming up, and then we did our K-drama one. So here's another K-drama one. So, you're not obligated to listen to these out there. If you don't like K-dramas, you don't have to, but we're throwing it out there for you. All right, so we're just going to keep producing these as the mood kind of hits us. This one kind of came out of, so if you recall, a couple weeks ago, Jennifer, Nadira, Judy, and I recorded our K-drama draft. And in that episode, Nadira mentioned the drama My Name. She goes, it looks pretty good. And I don't think any of us had seen it yet. And then a week later, I was messaging the group, and I was like, hey, I watched 2 episodes of My Name, and it's pretty good. And Jennifer goes, well, I already finished it. And then Nadira was like, well, I'm on episode number 5. So then we were like, oh, okay. And then we started talking about it a little bit, and we were like, hey, we should go ahead and do a pod on this one. So we were like, don't talk about it anymore. Let's put it all on the podcast. So we haven't really talked about it since, so this is going to be kind of fresh. Unfortunately, Jennifer wasn't feeling well today, so we don't have her, but we do have our friend from Australia. We have Nadira.
Hello, I'm back and ready to talk about My Name.
Yeah, we're going to actually, it's a hot and heavy race to 5 pod club now, because you are at 3 and Jen is at 3 too, so it is a tie. Since she's not here. So who's going to get to 4 first? We'll see.
I'm torn. I wanted Jen to be here, but at the same time, I also want to be at least on the same level as her.
Yeah. So this is good. It ups the stakes. So whoever comes up with the next, you have to pitch me an idea, and then we'll do another show together. And I should congratulate you officially on the air, Nadira. You are our 2021 Fantasy Korean Drama Draft winner.
Yay, me, my taste, and my friends.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. You really, you brought the army, Nadira. You brought them in, and I think all of our lists were pretty strong. I'll admit, I think mine was the weakest.
No, I sent you that data, and you're actually quite, you're almost always top 2 or top 3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and I got some messages. Some people said they liked mine. They're like, oh, I like Mr. Sunshine, definitely underrated. Some people said, I really like that one. And other people said Squid Game, of course. But I think some people commented, and some people would vote just because of one drama. Like, for example, I think it was Amy said that she liked all of our lists, but she picked yours because she really likes Stranger. So she was like, yeah, so she picked Nadira's list for that. And I think it was kind of par for the course, where everyone has one that they really liked and might have pushed them over the top. So congratulations, Nadira. We're going to have to send you something. I got to do some shopping.
Yeah, I look forward to Jen's comment about how much postage she'd have to pay.
I know, that's the real killer. It's not the gift, it's the postage. So we'll get that out to you. So congratulations. We'll have to do it again so we can, I'll come a little stronger next time. None of this, nostalgia stuff. I'm just going to go try to get the votes.
Yeah, if you're going to follow your heart, I think you might have to change your heart first.
Yeah, my heart betrayed me. So, I would definitely watch While You're Sleeping again, and I would definitely watch I'm a Robot again. I thought they were fun. They weren't amazing, but I think they're just entertaining. That's all we want, right? We don't need our life to be changed. We just want to have some fun.
I think While You're Sleeping should have gotten better response, I think.
I thought it was solid. I thought, it's popular. Like, you showed me the data where, on my drama list, or what was the other one, Asian Wiki.
Yeah.
It got decent marks. So I'm not alone, in liking that one. Though, overall, I think I think I messaged you guys this. If someone had gone with Crash Landing, maybe a little It's Okay to Not Be Okay, little Descendants of the Sun, maybe a little Vincenzo. I think they could have won, like just purely popular vote. I think if you had gone with those popular, really, really popular ones, I think one of us could have just got some easy votes. But I think we wanted to be true to ourselves, and I liked those dramas, but I didn't love any of those dramas.
Yep.
But my wife loved Crash Landing. That is her all-time favorite, I think. She's always comparing me to Captain Ree all the time. She's like, "Oh, Captain Ree wouldn't do this. Captain Ree would take the trash out on time. Captain Ree would do the dishes." So I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with that drama because Captain Ree set that standard of excellence.
She might have just gone with Goblin, because I know that you two really like Goblin, and
she does like Gong Yu too.
Yeah, and the Grim Reaper actually just needs to throw the trash really high, and it went into the moving truck in front of the street. So
yeah, no, she did like Goblin a lot too. But I think in terms of male lead characters, I think the Captain Reed character was the one that she liked the most.
Yep.
All right. Well, what else you got? Anything else new going on down there? Literally down there?
No, not really. I haven't. My name was really, it really took most of my evenings after work because I really enjoyed it. And I just finished DP as well. So just trying to catch up with my backlog, which I couldn't do while I was studying. And I'm going to finish Yumi Cells this week. I know that you weren't a fan of the animation, but I thought it integrated into the story very well, especially after they introduced the male lead.
Okay. No, I don't hate that drama. I might go back. We'll see. Did you finish Is Hometown done now? Is it all the episodes up? Or?
Yeah, Hometown is done, which is pretty good for the cast and crew because Kim Sono had that scandal happening where... Did you keep up?
No, I don't know what's going on.
So this lady, this news anchor pretty much came, anonymously, but the netizens figured out who she was and said, "Oh, I was in a relationship with actor K and he made me get into an abortion while promising that, we were going to get married in the future. And this is just because of our careers and whatnot." But they ended up breaking up, and apparently she believed that she was completely misled by him. And all of his ads have been pulled out, and he's been hospitalized, and no one actually knows why he's been hospitalized. So there are speculations it might be, his mental health.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, don't that's weird. I think we were talking about this with K-pop a little bit on that episode where. Yeah, you get the fame and you get the adoration of your fans, but they can turn on you in a minute and release venom. They're super loyal and will do anything for you. But if something happens the other way, they will.
Oh no! His fans are standing by him. They insist that she's questionable, this and that, but it's his non-fans that are attacking him.
Man, yeah. Korean society.
Hardcore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. What am I doing? I'm not watching anything lately. I'm trying to catch up on some stuff for our sitcom episode. So I've been watching a little Doogie Kamealoa and a little finishing up Kim's Convenience. I'm not going to finish it, but I'm on season 3. Never Have I Ever. Did you watch that show?
Yes, I loved it.
Hilarious. Yeah, that one's strong.
Yeah.
Super diverse cast. I love it. Yeah. So I'm watching that one, and then I think we're going to flash back to Fresh Off the Boat and, go back to some old episodes of those.
Yeah.
So I've been catching up on that just for the podcast. And then we're watching Eternals next weekend. So that one is... We're talking about... That's one that's going to release... November 5th, and our episode's going to be this next week too. So we'll see how that turns out.
I'll need to catch up on my Disney stuff because I haven't watched WandaVision, Loki, all of that. And my husband's like, "You need to watch it so we can talk about it and watch Eternals."
Yeah. No, Marvel's been busy because some of that stuff was delayed. But yeah, 2020, all the TV stuff came out, and then 2021, all the movies are coming out. So yeah, they're busy. They will not let... it's weird to have 2020 go by with no Marvel movie. That was the first year with no Marvel movie in 15 years or something like
Oh,
that.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So we get them all this year. All right, so similar to our Squid Game episode, if you guys listen to that, we're going to try to do the first part here spoiler-free, as best we can. And then we'll try to warn you when we get into specifics. So let's just talk generally, try not to spoil anything in this first part. The drama is called My Name, and when did it come out? It came out about a month ago, or
3 weeks ago, maybe.
oh, even less. Okay, so it's really fresh. And man, is Netflix on a roll or what? They are.
Oh, they're just throwing money at South Korea.
They're throwing it, and Korea is responding. So maybe these things similar to Marvel were in the pipeline, and then they just needed clearance to film them and whatnot. But they have been busy over there at the branch that I guess is part of TVN or Dragon Studio. I don't know which one, but anyway, they're producing.
Yeah. I'm sure that there are a lot of writers and directors out there who has a lot of projects, but they don't really have the outlet to do it without censorship.
Yeah, so there is Squid Game, which everyone has watched, right? I saw a stat that it's been watched over 120 million times, which is a big, big number. And I think Netflix has said that about 2 out of 3 of their customers, so 2 out of 3 subscribers have watched part of it, which is a big number too. So that's like 90 million people have watched it, and then people watch it over 120 million times, which means people are watching it more than once. And so, I think DP also came out, and then this one, My Name, also came out. So I think My Name and DP are kind of riding the Squid Game wave a little bit, where Netflix viewers are willing to try some Korean stuff. If a lot of people never tried it before, probably before Squid Game. And so I think My Name is up to number 3, or it was kind of waffling or a little bit. I don't think it'll be number 1. It's a little different than Squid Game.
I think Squid Game really helped that it was dubbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think My Name is going to get a dubbed version unless there is a high interest in it. But yeah, the amount of people that I know would not read subtitles to save their lives.
Yeah, okay. So the dub got them in the door, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so weird watching. I watched this YouTube clip of it, and I couldn't do it, man. It's so weird. But I'm used to subs, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really feel like the landscape of Korean television is permanently changed now. I think people, and it happened here in America too, they like that rated R material on their TV. They want to see the blood, and they don't want to blur out the violence, and and people take off their clothes a little bit more in these things, and so so it's appealing to an audience for sure in America here, and then I'm not sure how Korea is responding, but I think it's favorable in terms of viewership. I don't know. People are probably complaining about it. The conservatives over there are complaining about it.
Yeah, normally when you get those things, you would have to go to theaters to watch it, because all the movies, South Korean movies, are actually quite explicit and their ratings are quite high. They don't really censor, things that would get censored on public TV. So I guess in that case, you'd have to have access to Netflix to complain about it.
Yeah. And so, same thing happened here in America, where we had, kind of a 3 or 4 network system that had all the big shows, Seinfeld and Friends and Lost, and all those big shows were on our networks, and they're super popular in the 80s and 90s. And then, then the shift came with Showtime and HBO and, all these other creators on cable that were producing things that were a little Cinemax used to be called Skinemax. Because all their miniseries and stuff would have a little gratuitous nudity and stuff like that. And then so our networks, I think, I haven't watched a network show in a long time. I feel like, I just mentioned some sitcoms, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can't be shown on broadcast TV, but these subscriber systems like HBO Max and Netflix and Amazon. I mean, they're producing grittier stuff and definitely more mature content. And so I think the networks are really feeling that. They're not in control of it. So if I were JTBC or SBS or OCN, KBS, those networks in Korea, I'd be a little nervous if I were them about this, the way the direction of this is going.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they all go to the government and say, "Oh, the TV ratings need to change now, so we can also, supply the demand that that they want, that the audience want."
Yeah. So we'll see. I think it's an interesting time in Korean television. Good for us, though. We getting some really good content, and so Netflix is not done. So these three have been pretty one after another. So that means they must have some more coming because they're making room for it all. So let's talk about My Name. So My Name, I'm going to try to not spoil it at all in this description. So it's going to be very vague. So My Name is a story about a gangster's daughter. So you kind of meet her. She's in high school. Looks like she's maybe 16 or 17. I thought she might be a little older. You think 16 or 17?
I think 16 or 17 because the Korean age system.
Right. So in international age, she would be
a year or two younger, depending where she was born in the year. Yeah.
Yeah. So somewhere around it, the latter end of her high school career, probably. And then this horrific scene happens, and she witnesses her dad getting murdered. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it happens in the first half hour. So her dad gets murdered, and she's like right there. And so now she's kind of hell-bent on finding out who killed her dad and trying to kill that killer. And so she, you'll find out she's willing to basically do anything to get this guy who killed her dad. And so I think you encouraged me to do a trigger warning. Yeah, there's definitely uncomfortable scenes. There's bullying in the high school scenes, and then attempted rape and drugging, date rape, drug, and then there's just a ton of violence against her. And they say she's 5'4", but she looks smaller to me. I don't know. I mean, you can't tell how, but next to some of these guys that are probably 6 foot something, she looks really puny. And she just gets tossed around, thrown into the wall, stabbed, kicked, punched. It's hard to watch, honestly. So if you're squeamish about violence towards women, definitely not the show for you. Lots of gangster stuff. So there's knives galore, machetes, even some guns, lots and lots of blood. And so, yeah, Netflix must buy their fake blood by the gallon now, by the barrel, because between DP, Squid Game, and this is a lot of blood. So that's kind of our story. It's not totally original, right? I mean, we've seen stuff like this before. It's a revenge movie, right? It's basically a revenge drama.
Yeah, there are a lot of Korean gangsters movies out there who follow a similar plot.
Yeah.
So in terms of storyline, it's not a pioneer in anything, but there's always going to be a twist, I think, in Korean dramas, regardless of the rating. So in that sense, I think a lot of global viewers might be interested in.
Yeah, definitely some good twists. And it's zippy, right? It just, compared to some other stuff that we watched on Netflix, some TVN dramas, where it just drags along. This one, it's pretty nonstop from the get-go. It just kind of keeps moving. The plot keeps going. So I really enjoyed it. Overall, would you say?
8 episodes. Unheard of.
Super quick. Well, how was DP? DP was only 6, I think.
6 or 7? I can't remember.
It's short. DP is really short, and Squid Game is 8 also, right? Or
yeah,
9?
yeah, I think so. Or was it maybe 9? But the thing with DP is because they had almost like a different issue each episode, it felt contained. Whereas I think with My Name, it flow through. There is like a cliffhanger that you'd want to see happen. Yeah. Whereas in DP, the cliffhanger, you could almost stop watching and that episode by itself would make sense.
True. Yeah, no, I finished it in a weekend. It took you about a weekend or 4 days, 3 or 4 days?
Oh, yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, so it's a quick watch. So it's and I think you described one of these as a long Korean movie. I think you described Squid Game as a long Korean movie. This felt like it very cinematic as well.
Yep.
Just kind of a long movie, but it's eight pretty quick episodes. They're all about 49 to 50 minutes long, so pretty quick. And so the whole series, a couple days, you should probably get it done if you're committed.
Yeah. Really, if I wasn't working, I could have done it in a day.
Yeah, no, it flows. So it wasn't like, oh, I got to force myself. You wanted to watch it, so I love that when that happens.
It's very Moorish.
Yeah, just give me more. All right, so the cast and crew, and we mentioned her a little bit. Han So Hee. I only saw her a little bit in Abyss. I didn't finish Abyss, so I only saw her briefly in there. Really impressed with her. What have you seen her in? You've seen her in some stuff, right?
I've seen her in Abyss. I was actually disappointed she didn't get a bigger role because I think she wasn't, how sometimes they write annoying second lead women as just like a pebble in your shoe, but she wasn't. She was like giving it her all. She was very expressive, and then she kind of disappeared after 3 or 4 episodes. So that was a bit disappointing, but I know that she made it big in The World of the Married, where, as I've mentioned before, she was just very dislikable as a second lead, as this mistress, and she got a lot of hate on her Instagram from the Indonesian viewers because how dare she, be a mistress and have the higher ground. And apparently she delivered the role very well and she was very impressive there. Her next role, however, in Nevertheless, oh my God, did I not enjoy that at all. Did you watch Nevertheless at all?
No, never.
So it pretty much just centered around her, this university student. She is a arts major, like a fine arts major, and she was paired with Song Kang, I think his name. He's a bit of a Netflix sweetheart, South Korean Netflix sweetheart. He was in Sweet Home.
Okay.
I know you watched that, yeah?
Yep.
But what I didn't like about Nevertheless was it's supposed to be this realistic approach to a relationship in university, but they didn't look like they wanted to be in a relationship. They just weren't having fun. Like they weren't laughing at each other. Every time they had this push and pull thing happening, they would just stare, and I wouldn't even call it sexual tension. I have no idea what that was. Just staring, and they paired her up with this other guy who she was laughing with, and she was smiling, and then they put her back with this male lead, and you're like, why are you with him? Do you not want to be with him? I can't tell. But yeah, that has a bit of a dividing opinion on Nevertheless.
I actually have never heard anyone talk about it before. So this is definitely a departure. Yeah, I don't think she's ever done an action where she's like the action lead before. And so I've read a little bit that this was something that she really wanted to do, and she wanted to do her own stunts. She practiced really hard on the fighting, as well as just put on some muscle for this. So she, because I think she was really skinny in World of the Married, right? She was like 47 kilograms or something like that.
She said she gained 10 kilograms. I don't know where she put that because I don't see it.
She's still skinny. Yeah, she's still little. They tried to give her baggy clothes, I think, to make her look a little thicker. But she came across as kind of tiny sometimes. Sometimes she looked a little more stout, but but it is impressive though. Her moves look good to me, and so she really worked hard on this role, and she's getting a lot of accolades for it, which is good. Happy for her.
I watched it, I didn't see much of editing cuts for her actions. Like it kind of looked like a lot of the takes looked like they were done in one hit.
Yeah.
Apparently, when I watched an interview and they said they would do something 13 or 14 takes, and half the time they would just take just one, like within the few first shots.
Yeah.
Which I thought was amazing.
Yeah. So she's sweaty or bloody throughout this whole thing, which is definitely a departure. I mean, she's obviously pretty, right? She's obviously a beautiful woman.
Gorgeous.
But she was working hard in this whole episode, this whole series. And then, do you know these other actors?
I think Park Hee-sun, who plays the mafia dad, is pretty much always, put into a mafia role. I think it's because of the way he
Okay.
looks. I'm not quite
He's got
sure.
that look, yeah.
I mean, he's a fox in the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he has a long he has a long movie list, more than dramas.
Okay. But yeah, he was super solid. Definitely believable as both menacing, but there's a little bit of fatherly spirit to him. So that came across. I thought he played that well.
Yep.
How about the other lead, the male lead?
The detective, the narcotics detective, the narc. An Bohyeon, we saw him in Yumi Cells.
Oh, okay.
I think you haven't watched where he entered the series, but he's in there. He was in
Yeah.
Itaewon Class.
Oh, he was?
He was the
Oh,
son,
he's
the guy who killed the chicken.
yeah, okay, so the rich CEO tormentor of
Yes.
okay. Oh, okay.
He was also a second lead in Her Private Life.
Oh,
So all his
okay.
role has generally been like villainous or very on the side,
Sleazy.
sleazy. Yeah, but
But this
he's really
guy,
good.
yeah. But this character, the hero, right, in a way.
I don't. I would still
Yeah.
classify him as a side character here, but he took a bigger role.
Yeah. But he's a good guy, at
He's a
least. I mean,
good
he's not a
guy.
huge role, but he's the
Uh,
good guy.
Apparently, because of the past roles he's taken, they actually considered him as one of the villains, sub villains, because he's done them so well before. But the director asked him, "Do you want to play the good guy or the bad guy?" I was like, "Well, I want to try playing the good guy," and
Yeah.
I thought it worked
That
out.
worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Directed by Kim Jimin. You said here on the notes, it said he directed Extracurricular. I also like that one. Another gritty one.
Mm.
Another, like, wow, this is the underbelly of South Korea that you don't see in all the dramas. Yeah, so it looks like this guy he tends to like things that are a little gangstery, a little shady.
Well,
Seems like he likes those things.
I don't know about The Liar and His Lover though, because from memory, that I haven't watched it, but I think it's
Oh, I
a
don't know.
rom com, like a high school rom
Oh,
com. It's very
okay.
different.
Yeah, no, I don't know that one, but Lawless Lawyer I know has a little gangster element to it. Written by Kim Bada. How do you say that? Kim Bada.
I think you got it right.
Okay, so do you know anything else that isn't a man or woman? It's a man.
A woman.
Oh,
Uh,
anything else she's
she
written?
actually hasn't written a lot. Let me see. I think she did Return of Superman, which is like I think Naughty's movie. Oh no, sorry, A Man Who Was Superman. 2008, she did The Huntress, which was a movie in 2014, and Life Risking Romance. I haven't heard of any
Hey.
of those. Yeah. So she
So
came out of
okay.
nowhere, but she specifically wanted a gorgeous actress and saw
Mm,
Han So Hee in Nevertheless and said, I want her. And Han So Hee
yeah.
got the script a few times, hesitant because of the demand of the role, but eventually she said yes. And I liked her decision.
Yeah. And she's beautiful, but I fit that she has a little toughness to her. Like she could be a model, of course, but I don't know. It worked for me that she was also someone who was tough. It worked for me.
She has
She
that
did a good
fire
job.
in her eyes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so this is a Netflix production, so they put some money into it, and they made it look. I keep using the word gritty. I need another word.
I
It
like the
was
term neon noir.
neon noir, yeah, because it's dark. It's literally dark. A lot of this was shot at night, or it looked like kind of in a lair. It was a lot of it
Yeah.
was real dark, but it's a dark vibe. That noir vibe.
Yeah, when it's dark, it has that UV light that's happening with like Blade Runner 2049 and Driver with Ryan
Okay.
Gosling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I can definitely see that. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good description of it. Neon noir. But yeah, they created a whole kind of a world in a way that you don't see in regular Korean dramas per se, but this real dark underbelly of South Korea where where the deals go down, where deals are made, people are hurt, people are making decisions that affect a lot of other people. So yeah, beautiful is not the right word. It
has its aesthetic.
Yeah, it's definitely got an aesthetic that is creating a mood. So yeah, good for them. So, who would you recommend this to? Would you recommend this to people?
I would recommend it if you hate it nevertheless.
You want to redeem Han So Hee?
I feel like Han So Hee is just underrated for the longest of time, and I think I'm also a bit defensive because I think about a year ago, or maybe just earlier this year, old photos of her resurfaced of her smoking and having tattoos, and apparently she was really dedicated in becoming an actor, so she got her tattoos removed. But the comments were like, "Oh, she's so try hard. She's taking the selfies, trying to look cool," and I'm like, everyone takes selfies, so. What's the big deal? Yeah. It's just that she has tattoos to go with it.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I had heard that. And honestly, I could care less. She can do whatever she wants with her body, but okay. So yeah, so if you want to see Han So Hee in something different and shall we say good, watch her in this. If you like gangster stuff, I actually really used to like Hong Kong gangster stuff. So there's a whole movie series called Young and Dangerous, and they had like 8 parts to it. But it was kind of like that, these young guys trying to make their name against the bigger gangsters. Or, of course, there's John Woo's Hard Boiled with Chow Yun-fat and Tony Leung. But the one that I think most people are comparing this to is Infernal Affairs.
Yes.
Which Scorsese turned into The Departed. And so you'll know why. Once you watch it, you'll know why we are.
I mean, it's in the trailer. The undercover thing is in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of whose side is she really on in this, right? And man, could you imagine being undercover for 3 or 4 or 5, 10 years?
You'd lose yourself. Like, I can't do that. I get carried away.
Yeah. So that's one of the tension in the whole film is like, whose side is she really on, right? Is she a bad guy? Is she a good guy? We don't know. And so if you like things like Nikita or any kind of femme fatale kind of show, I mean, she is definitely a baddie in this one in a good way. She's really cool. She's a stud. All right, so I think that's it for the spoiler-free part. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to tune out right now. And as usual, I'll put some kind of sound here to give you time to reach to your radio, turn it to something else, change your podcast to something else, change it to some nice music or something. But watch it and come back and hear our little take on the episodes. But if you haven't watched it yet, you might want to ditch out now. And we'll give you a few seconds. All right, come back and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
우리 팀에 들어오려는 이유.
잡고 싶은 놈이 있어서입니다.
너 뭐하는 X냐? 복수를 하겠단다. 하게 해줘.
넌 내 손에 죽는다.
All right, everyone else here, now you've watched it, right? Everyone here? We were talking about this, but some people like spoilers. So if you really like, I'll say this on the air the next time too, but there were some people who listened to our K-drama, the whole 2 hours of it, who don't even watch K-dramas. And I kind of don't understand that totally, but they were like, we just liked hearing you guys talk, So maybe there's people here that have no intention of ever watching this drama, but they just like hearing us talk. So here we are. If you want to listen in and hear all the spoilers, fine. Come on in. All right, so this plot, I don't know. I put it into 4 acts. I don't know how many acts you can put it into because it all kind of blurs together. Like we said, it's pretty zippy. But so you have this kid, and you can tell she's been through some stuff. She comes to school kind of hair a mess, bedhead, and no makeup, and she's just kind of sitting in the back of the class, typical kid that gets bullied a lot, sits in the back of the class, and, you can see that girls pick on her and say, oh, your dad's a gangster, the police are looking for him.
Doesn't help that she's also being harassed by these 2 cops asking her where her dad is.
Yeah, so she's just miserable. The miserableness is palpable. it's her birthday.
Yeah.
And, it's just everything is, her life's a mess. Her dad's on the run from the cops because, he's wanted for all this stuff. She has no friends. And, so she's got this terrible life. And then so her dad calls her on her birthday and, she says some mean things to him. So he tries to show up even though he knows the cops are outside waiting for him. So he shows up at her door. I guess he rents her the apartment, so it's his door. And right as he's about to go in, some hooded, masked, dark figure comes up and kills him. Actually shoots him, which is kind of rare in Korea. Not a lot of guns out there. So he gets shot, and, of course, she's on the other side of the door, so she hears the whole thing happening. So it's really traumatic.
Yeah, and her dad's just holding the door so she won't come out. And then, he broke the key so she won't be able to twist the knob. Oh, that was sad. That was heart-wrenching. And her face when she was trying to open the door, that was really sad.
Yeah. And the last words she said to him were like, "You're dead to me." On the phone. That's why he came over, because she said, "You're dead to me."
Yeah.
And so that was rough. But then she has nothing. So at the funeral, all the gangsters show up. The head gangster, the Godfather, walks in. Choi Moo-jin shows up, and she's like, "Did you like my dad?" He's like, "Oh, your dad was my closest friend and the guy I trusted the most." And so she has no one really at this point, right? She has no one in her life. We don't know about her mom or anything, but so she goes up to him and she's like, "Can I get in your gang? I want to kill this guy. I want to get him. Help me get him." And at first he says no, right? He slaps her really hard.
Yeah.
And tells her to go away.
Hands her a knife.
But she keeps
saying, "Oh, you want to kill your dad's killer? Stab me. Prove me that you can do it."
And she can't do it.
Can't.
Yeah, she doesn't have the killer in her. And yet, how does she end up? Then she ends up somehow. I guess she just keeps showing up. Yeah.
No, she put up poster saying, "Have you seen my dad? Do you have any news about this guy who killed my dad?" And like an idiot showed up with $5,000 to a stranger in a dark alley. What a way to get your kidney stolen! But what?
So these two mini thugs throw her in the trunk, and nothing good is going to happen there. But then Choi Moo-jin, I guess, was following her, or he knew that she was put up these posters, so he followed her and said, "What are you doing?" And then she goes, I want to be a gangster. I want to get this guy." And so he throws her in. Now, do these things really exist? These little gangster training camps? I don't know. Do they? I've never been in a gangster mini camp before, but they have this little warehouse where all these gangsters are learning how to fight. And these are young men, all men, no women here at all. And so she's there, and of course, no one will teach her. They just want her to wash the dishes and do the laundry, and they're not teaching her how to fight. So after hours, she kind of is working the punching bag. And we see that Choi Moo-jin, the Godfather, has cameras, so he can see her, her heart here working. And so, he steps in and teaches her a thing or two about fighting. And then I guess there's like some little mini tournament where all the little gangsters fight each other.
Yeah.
Last man standing gets a weekend off or something.
And a month's
$1,000
pay or something. And it's pretty much like a gladiator scene in a cage fight.
Yeah. So, of course, it ends up with two people standing. One of them is this creepy, really played it well.
Yeah, he was the
guy.
matinee before she came along.
Yeah, so he was kind of the bottom of the totem pole, but he's worked his way up to be a good fighter at least, and his name is Do Gang-jae. And so it's those two fighting, and she beats him.
Yeah.
Beats him fair and square. And so he's humiliated, and then she's kind of the champ of this little mini kumite. And, and Moo-jin is kind of beaming as the proud father in a way, right? He's kind of taking her under his wing.
Do you think Gang-jae actually felt humiliated? I thought that he was just upset because he really wanted the money and time off. I did not sense that he felt humiliated.
He brushed it off. because she went up to him later and goes, "Oh, sorry about that thing earlier." And he's like, "No, it's just a fight, right?" But remember, then the next scene, he wanted to rape her.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something
Yeah.
there, I think, obviously, and then later it comes in place. So later on, he drugs her and is about to rape her, and then Moojin steps in there.
And she actually
slits
pretty
his-
much she felt herself getting roofied, and there was these two guys in her bedroom, and she broke her dad's urn so she could get something to hurt herself with and wake herself up from the effects of the roofie, and ran in the middle of the cage where they had a fight earlier where the camera shots at. So Moojin was seeing what was happening.
Yeah. So he steps in, saves her again, kind of, and I guess he kicks Gang Jae out of the gang, and so he's got this. He scars his face up too, and kicks
Which
him
I
out.
think was weird because his choice to Gangjae was, do you want me to cut your arm, your head, or your leg? And then he only slices a little bit on his face. What was that?
Well, I don't know. I guess that's more humiliating, but
I don't know.
I don't know. Gangster code, I guess, Nadira. I guess we don't know the gangster code. You get to choose.
I disagree. Just just slow him down a bit. A cut on his face isn't going to slow him down. It's just going to build resentment, and
you knew that was coming, right? The resentment was coming. And then the long game starts where Mijin signs her up to the police academy.
Pretty much
and,
destroys her identity, which is where the my name
new
came from.
identity. Yeah, so she's going to be called another name. And yeah, so they do this in 10 seconds, right? She goes to the police academy. They zip. She trains, and they show her at graduation where she's actually a cop. And then I would think it takes years to become a detective too. So she works her way up, all the way up to detective. And then she finally gets called into narcotics, which is
I think it's part of
the
her
group.
plan.
Yeah, was the plan all along because, of course, Moojin is a drug dealer, so he wanted her in the narcotics division so he can keep an eye on them because they hate him because he's the number one.
He showed her a photo of this guy. I think his name is Cha Giho, who's the head of narcotics, and he said, this guy has something to do with your dad's death. We think he killed your dad because there is this cop gun at the scene.
Yeah.
So,
and she kind of knew that too. She saw him that night that her dad was killed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he came to her door wearing similar
Yeah,
clothes
so
to the killer.
Yeah, so she's kind of had her eye on trying to find this guy. And she's like, that's the guy. So that's her new captain, and she's a detective there. And that's where you meet Pildu. I don't know how to say that.
Pildo. We can call her.
Yeah, you meet him.
I don't know, Captain Ark. I don't.
Yeah. He's one step above her, so she calls him Sunday.
Yeah, he's a second lead or something, second in charge.
Yeah, so there's Captain and there's him, and she immediately makes an impression on them by going into this kind of like drug dealer's place, casino club thing, and beats up like 9 guys on the way in there.
Yeah, he was trying to test her, but he was like, "Oh, you didn't have to beat them up," and she was like, "Well, clearly you sent me first because you were testing me, so I'll just beat up all the guys I see along the way."
Yeah, so she makes an impression, so they're like, "Oh, okay, this is how it's gonna go," and so she's kind of worked her way into the good graces of the narcotics division, and yet, there's little things here or there where the captain is a little bit suspicious of her, and she's definitely suspicious of the captain, and, meanwhile, she's getting pumped for information because Mijin wants to know everything that's going on, and so she's kind of working both sides a little bit. She's got to prove herself as a cop, but she's also got to be loyal to Mijin because he says if you ever cross me, I'm going to kill you. So that's getting kind of blurry here in my memory. So stuff happens. And then we find out that Do Gangjae is very much alive and is kind of carving out his own little drug cartel. So the guy who got his face slashed is gunning for Moojin, so he's kind of a common enemy there. At the same time,
Moojin's specialty is meth, and Gangjae's specialty is LSD.
Yeah, this new drug. new version of LSD, I guess. At the same time, the police are getting closer to Mujin. They're really out to get him. And so there's some stuff going on. And then there's this really crazy scene where Do Gang-jae catches... her name is Ji-woo. Catches Ji-woo and Pildo... and throws him into a car compactor, right? He's about to crush him. And it's clear that Gang-jae and Ji-woo have a history. And so Pildo sees that they have a little bit of something going on. And, she later says, oh, yeah, he tried to rape me years ago and stuff. And he's like, oh, I knew there was something going on. So he's about to crush him. And it's one of those famous scenes that drives you crazy where the villain goes, I'm going to kill you, but first I'm going to walk away. Instead of making sure this thing is finished, I'm going to walk away while the compactor is going down.
But you know what? It's one of those K-dramas that you think something bad will happen. Like, at least one of them will die. We know it's not going to be her because she's on the poster. But we don't know if he might die. Because, as much as he's a male lead, it's one of those K-dramas where the stakes are high. So they're like, oh, we'll just kill this guy and see what happens next.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. It looked like they were both goners. But somehow, I don't remember exactly how, but Mujin, Godfather guy, finds out where they are and that they're in trouble and drives over there in a Mercedes. Even though the police are looking for this guy, they're all out to get him, but he drives over there in a Mercedes. I think it was a Mercedes.
An old Mercedes, yeah.
And he smashes the controller on the compactor and stops it just in time for both of them to get out. And he, runs away from the scene, leaving the car there. Of course, it's kind of like, wait, who saved these guys, right? And then the cops show up, and they're like, "What the?"
What's interesting about that scene was she was surprised to see him there. Like, she was like, "What are you doing here?" That's the look on her face, and the actress said that's what she was going for. She didn't want it to look like, "Oh, you're saving me, thank you." She's like, why are you here? Why? Yeah, you didn't have to be here. Like, I could manage this by myself type of situation.
Yeah. But, so that's like the third time he saved her. So he's really,
clearly he feels some sort of affection towards her.
I think he really does, yeah. And I think when the police were getting wise to her, or Gang-jae, was wise to her too. He's like, oh, wait, you're the girl who beat me up. I'm going to get my revenge on you. And either revenge and kill you or expose you, right? One of those two. As I'm going to expose you as a gangster mole, that would have been bad. Or, just kill you because I hate you, that would be bad. So he, he had a lot of cards. Gang-jae had a lot of cards on her. So she basically, needed to get rid of this guy. And so yeah, that scene was interesting. So now it's like, okay, so Mujin was saying, you should just leave. You need to get out of here. I'll buy you a house somewhere on the beach. Just go. Here's a passport with another name.
You know about all those photos of the beach? They did not show a photo of the actual place. They just showed photos of the view, and that made me laugh because, you'd also want to see how the house looks like.
You might want to check out the beach house itself. And that, that flashes back to a scene with her dad when she was younger. And her dad was like, we should go to the beach. And that was his dream. And she's like, that sounds perfect to me. So that was so he's become her dad. He's definitely become her father figure, for better or for worse. And he's kind of taking that role of, hey, let's get a beach house for you and set you up there. You can live your dream. And so there's that scene. And so things are really closing in on Ji-woo, right? Like the cops are getting closer to figuring out who she is. Like, hey, you're not who you say you are. And Gang-jae is also coming closer to either exposing her or killing her. And then there's a lot going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and then it kind of culminates in a battle, which is kind of silly how they all got there, but there's kind of like, hey, Gang-jae is at the seaport. He's going to try to escape. And then so Mujin shows up with all his gangsters. Gangjae is there with all his gangsters. The police are all there. The whole thing is just crazy.
So Gangjae apparently tried to get the cops to catch Mujin, so Mujin would stop going after Gangjae, but in the end it became like this three-way fight because the cops just wanted to get everyone, and there was like a standoff between Jiwoo and Gangjae, who was witnessed by Pildo. And Gangjae was like, well, you know what? There's an eyewitness here. Do you know who she actually is? And before he could say anything, she shot him.
And Mujin was there too. I think all four of them were there.
He was running away because
he was running away. There. Yeah. So it was three of them at first: Gangjae, Mujin, and Jiwoo. And then Mujin runs away, and then so she shoots him. Even after he said, "Oh, I give up. I'll tell you everything you want to know." But Pildo understands. Well, okay. Well, he tried to rape you, so I can see why you would do that. So he kind of covers for her. This was
after, though. At first, Pildo was like, maybe she was just like feeling like all tensed up, and there is this guy who tried to kill her in a car yard, because that's the evening where he went over to her apartment.
Yeah. So clearly Pildo is on her side, and he is looking out for her too, and lo and behold, has a crush on her.
Come on, we saw that coming, didn't we? Saw that coming.
We saw that coming. Maybe this is the part that Jennifer doesn't like. Jennifer was messaging us that there was something about the ending that she didn't like. Maybe it was the forced romance here.
I didn't think the romance was forced, because I think I would have felt forced if it got way too steamy, but I think it was quite muted. There wasn't a lot of passion. It just seemed like both of them needed comfort, and they already have some sort of camaraderie with each other anyway, and I think it was just built from there. That's my take anyway.
I didn't mind it. I mean, but I think that it was kind of weird that, the whole world is looking for these. The whole world is looking for them. But first, let's go to a beach house and have
a sex. Well, it is a K-drama after all, Curtis.
I know. But, and it actually was pretty R-rated, for a K-drama. I mean, it wasn't totally explicit, but for a K-drama it was.
For a movie it wasn't explicit, but for a K-drama you don't normally see, a woman in her bra. And it was a lot. There's a lot of subtext and sensuality that's not normally in a rom-com. For sure. Yeah. So that was a little scandalous, but it fit. I think it was okay. I didn't mind it. I didn't say like, well, that was out of nowhere. It didn't feel gratuitous like an HBO, Game of Thrones sex scene.
Right, exactly. And so I skipped over something. So that was the whole where so Mujin's trying to turn himself in.
Oh, you skipped a bit where she received the photo. After Gangjae died, Gangjae sent a photo from the grave, and it was a photo of her father as a cop with his pretty much workmates. Yeah, his academy graduation or whatever, and so that means that was my dad a cop or was my dad a gangster? And Gangjae didn't totally know, but he said you don't know everything that you think you know. And so that was kind of interesting. And then so she's super confused right now. Who do I trust? Do I trust Mujin? Do I trust my captain? And there's all kinds of stuff going on. I don't know if we have time to get into all of this because I'm messing it up anyway. You know what I like, though? She went outright and asked the mafia dad and say, was my dad a cop? Like, she went outright. She didn't speculate as much as it hit her like a truck, because she was like vomiting and she couldn't drive right because she was just shocked by what she's been doing the past 5 years, like not having her facts straight. But she still went to him and asked, and that's kind of where she made the decision, although it's not told to us directly, this is my decision. But I think Mujin then went to give himself in just to test her, I think. And she makes it look like he passes the test, but really she wanted him free so that she could kill him. So she gets rid of so the whole thing was the cops were like, oh, we want to get you for the murder of Gangjae. We have the knife with your fingerprints on it. So she goes to the evidence room because she's still a cop. So she goes to the evidence room, destroys the evidence, and then now everyone knows she's a traitor. Get her. She's the mole. And so everyone's chasing after her. And, of course, it's Pildo who finds her and slaps a handcuff on her and to him
And then people try to kill them, and then so they're running away to do the beach house scene. And then they're driving back to the police station. She's going to turn herself in. Right? They say, okay, you know, whatever. He's like, whatever happens to you, I'll be with you no matter what. You know, you just the only crime she did at this point was to destroy evidence.
Oh, and also stabbing the captain.
Oh, but I think he was going to let her go for that because, you know, the captain said no,
Yeah.
and it wasn't her. So I don't remember when that was revealed. So really, the only thing that she could be convicted for is tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice. So I don't know how serious a crime that would be, but she was going to go to jail. So they're driving back to the police station, and on the way,
Oh no.
a motorcycle pulls up, and it's Moojin, and he's got a gun, and he aims it at her. She's in the passenger seat. But he slowly aims it at Pildo and, takes him out and drives away. Basically, he could have killed her right there, too. But he knows it's got to be a showdown.
Yeah.
And so now she escapes there, and he knows she's coming for him. She knows she's going to have to fight her way in, and it's just a mess. And so there's this final fight scene, which I don't know, super hard to watch. But
Did you find it hard to watch because she kept getting stabbed and she kept getting up? Is that why?
yeah, that and I don't want to see her get stabbed, and she lost that fight. I mean, she was dead 10 times over in that fight, but she kept getting up, which you got to hand it to her. But there's no way she won that fight.
I mean, I think he got arrogant and he didn't just count the bullets that she shot. She
there's
just
that.
assumed there's a bullet.
There's that. But how could she even walk after that? It was rough. Rough.
It's just spite. Spite kept her going.
I guess.
Because I think at this point she also knew Moojin was the one that killed her dad.
Yeah. No, I mean, he basically admitted it. Did you like the ending? I mean, were you satisfied? I mean, it's...
I knew what was going to happen. I mean, the villain who pretty much raised the child is a trope that we've seen in Marvel. We've seen them in different movies from different countries.
Sure,
so
yeah.
that twist wasn't a bit of a shocker. If anything, I guessed it from like episode 1 or 2. That was what was going to happen when in the beginning, when he gave her a knife and said, "You want to kill your dad's killer? Kill me." Like, I mean, that's just in your face.
Yeah.
But
I was waiting for more flashbacks. I wanted some flashbacks to, who's like, yo, got to get him in the chin, or he showed her where to kill people. I was waiting for that flashback.
I've never heard anyone talk about K-drama saying, "I need more flashbacks, Curtis." That was the first time.
Yeah, that might have been too cheesy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, I mean, she had to win. I wanted her to win, of course, but in that particular fight, she wasn't winning.
Yes. I mean, I think as much as she's a woman who was placed to be at the same equal balance as men. I think this point is we've always known that Moojin is a powerful guy who will always win against her. So this is like that Arya Stark moment of Game of Thrones, that she's not going to win in a straightforward way. She's going to have to use her brain, and maybe a little bit of luck.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's very convincing as a fighter, but she is so tiny. She's fighting 9 dudes, who also have trained as hard as she has. And
you don't always need strength. All you need is sometimes speed and really high accuracy.
the technique, yeah. No, I did like that last scene where she came in there with the gun. She had 5 bullets left, right? And so she's trying to use them sparingly, but there were so many of them, so she had to shoot 5 times, right? And so she basically had no bullets left, and that was a nice little thing.
Yes, I actually like that because she used the final bullet on the guy outside of Moojin's door.
And she didn't want
to. And he was an amazing fighter. He could have taken her down easy.
Yeah. So the whole time you're like, wait, how many bullets does she have left, right? Like she only had 1, and then it's like, oh, don't use it, oh, she used it. And so you knew that was going to happen, and then she's going to have to be a knife fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, I liked it overall. It's just that last scene with the fight was the one. I was like, I don't think she won. I really don't think. I still don't think she won that fight. But
I mean, is winning living or is winning just, depends what you mean by winning.
I get anyway, living or winning. Yeah, I don't think she was living after that. She got stabbed.
I mean, he won the fight technically.
I gotta count how many times she got stabbed. But she was getting diced up, man. She was seriously getting slashed. But maybe they were maybe they're more humiliating blows than death blows, like arms and legs and not the guts. But anyway, so she won, and then she walks away, and so looks like there might be a season 2.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you go.
I don't know. The thing is, I thought with this typical of Korean storyline, normally either everyone dies, like her and the mafia dad, or the mafia dad. Like it's either all or just the villain. So I thought she was going to die at the end, just trying to achieve her goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't have hated that. I think that's why I'm suspicious. That's why I think there may be a season 2, because not only does she walk out, but she walks a couple miles to the graveside, right?
I mean, it's pretty much it's she got closure. And I think as much as I didn't appreciate them killing the narcotic second in charge, the An Boyon character, I get why they did that, because clearly she was already torn about killing the guy who raised her, and she needed that extra fuel to run into the den and kill him.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know where they would go if they had another season, because there's no more vengeance, right? Everyone's dead that she needs to kill.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
She can't be a cop. She can't. Not really meant to be a gangster, so I don't know. She's gonna lay low. Maybe she becomes a vigilante or something.
What I appreciate about the sexual assault component of it is they didn't use that as her main drive, because that could have easily been done, and it has been done before in Korean movies where a woman was, raped or assaulted in some way, and her family killed or whatever, and that becomes like purely her motive. And it gets overdone, but they didn't use that here. Yeah,
and she wasn't actually raped, which I didn't need to see, right?
Yeah, so. even just the moments leading up to it creeped me out, because it just felt so sinister.
Yeah, no, I was not looking. I would not have enjoyed seeing her get. That would have been horrible. I would have hated that. Yeah, but so she was able to survive that without. So, yeah, no, I'm curious to what Jennifer would have to say on that. Let me see if she texted us. I'm curious to what she would have to say. Oh, she didn't write us, but she said she didn't like it, so I don't know. We'll see. Like, she liked the show, but not the ending, so I wonder what part she didn't like.
Yeah, I think endings are a bit tricky. I think maybe because I've lowered my standards so much with Korean dramas, and I would rather a sad ending than a bad ending. If they had tied a bow at the end, I would not have liked that, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it was clean in the sense that everyone that needed to be dead was dead.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to know what happened with the captain who was actually quite good friends with her dad.
Yeah.
With Jiwoo's dad. Because I think he felt a lot of guilt about sending him undercover to the drug den.
So, yeah, it wasn't complete bow tying, but it was wrapped up. They wrapped it up pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that was heavy, man.
I may watch it again. I may not. Like I said, I kind of want to see some of it again, but yeah, I don't need to see her getting stabbed 45 times.
Yeah, she was so good at it. Like when she was like just going down that building on the side, and I had to rewind like 4 or 5, 6 times and thinking, okay, so she might not have fallen from the top window, but she would have at least had to fall almost 2 meters to get on the ground, and I didn't see the cut for that, and I'm like, that was very risky.
Yeah. Oh, so I wonder if that's going to kind of lead her to, I don't want to say typecast, but I'm sure a lot of people saw that and they're like, ooh, I wouldn't mind her in my movie. I wouldn't mind her in my drama.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to get typecast. She has a diverse portfolio so far.
Already.
Good for her.
yeah, so I think big things for her coming up. She's still young, right? She's like 28 or something like that.
She's quite young. I watched some of the promo video on YouTube for My Name, and I really enjoyed her in those. She wasn't shy, but also she wasn't trying too hard. She was just being herself, and it's quite fun to watch. She kind of reminds me a bit of that. Is it Soo-young from Girls' Generation who is on K Variety? Yeah, she's like that. She's outgoing, but not over the top.
Yeah, and not super girly, but not super tomboyish either. She's kind of...
Yeah, I think she's also quite active. Like she rides bicycles to work, and I think she maybe also does motorbikes. So I mean, if she did a lot of those stunts and she did that pull-ups that she did in the My Name, wow.
All right, no, I'll definitely watch anything that she's in now. Maybe not Nevertheless, but I'll watch. I won't go back, but if anything she comes out with new, I'll definitely watch her.
I think maybe I think you might enjoy World of the Married.
I gotta find it. I guess it's too popular for Netflix or Viki to buy it. I guess it's
JTBC.
Yeah.
It might be on Viki over there, but it's not here.
Yeah, it's not in America either. All right, well, Nadira, guess what? I think that's it. Unless you have anything else to say.
Oh no, it's exhausting talking about that. I wasn't expected to.
I'm tired. I want to go take a nap, or either go hit the punching bag for a while, or take a nap, or something. I don't know. But thanks for breaking this down with me. A little side dish. We call them banchan.
No worries. It was really fun.
Oh yeah, it's kind of quick. It's kind of nice, right? Just one drama, not 10 dramas like last time. But audience out there, if you want to write into us and tell us your opinions on My Name, please do at infatuasianpodcast@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram. That's where we have our polls. That's where you can help us shape the content of this podcast a little bit. So Instagram is really our main kind of socials. And we're at The InfatuAsian Podcast. So follow us over there and see what's going on with us. You'll see when new episodes, like especially secret ones like this, where we're just going to drop it on a Sunday night. You need to be on Instagram so you know when it launches. Thanks again for listening, everyone out there, and so stay tuned for new episodes coming soon. You don't know when they're going to drop. They may come on a Sunday. I think I dropped one on a Friday one time. I drop them when you least suspect it. So you gotta be on one of our socials, or at least subscribe to us on Spotify or Apple. But let's see. On behalf, should we give on behalf of Jennifer too? Okay, on behalf of Nadira, Jennifer, and myself, even though Jennifer's not here, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and safe out there. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.